That dude?
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Coming up, we'll tell you if Le'Veon Bell is cracking under the pressure. And 1 hour from now, we'll sit down with the crazy coach from Last Chance U, Jason Brown. All right, but we'll start today with Tom Brady. A day before quarterback Tom Brady reports to his 20th NFL training camp, he and the New England Patriots have not worked out a contract extension. The NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported that no new deal is on the horizon for Brady, and Pelissero noted this will be the first time in Brady's illustrious career that he's poised to go into a season in a contract year. All of this leads me to believe this is Brady's final NFL season. And I'll believe that even if Brady and the Patriots announce an extension between now and Christmas. The 42-year-old Brady has previously stated he wants to play until age 45. Well, I wanted a bacon double cheeseburger for breakfast this morning. I thought better of it and settled for a green smoothie instead.
My dog.
My point is, people can and do change their mind. 6 weeks ago, when Brady reported for a Patriots minicamp, he posted on Instagram that he was going to treat his first day like it was his last day, and his last day like it was his first.
Biggie.
It was a clue into his thinking. He's thinking about the end. Once you do that, you're at the end. Two things will push Brady into retirement after this season. Number one, it's his kids. The rewards of football do not compare to the rewards of parenthood. Jumping off that cliff in Costa Rica with his 6-year-old daughter is a far better feeling than anything Brady will do this football season. When you're at Brady's level of financial success and security, life becomes about creating memories. You could fill 5 books with the memories Brady and Belichick have created. Tom is just starting those books with his kids. They're reaching the age where they'll remember these years. The second reason Brady's going to retire is because I think he'd rather stick his football landing than tarnish his legacy in any way with a poor season. That's not me predicting Brady's play is going to greatly deteriorate this season. But if he keeps rolling out there another 2 or 3 years, his play is going to slip. Why risk it? Losing is no fun. Being a reason your team is losing is even worse. There's little upside in Brady playing past year 20, and there is some risk. You can get injured at 42 or 43 years old, and the recovery process is longer and far more complicated than a guy who gets hurt at 25. For a couple of years, I wrongly predicted Brady's supermodel wife, Gisele Bundchen, would be the reason he quit playing. Brady's going to quit because it's the right thing to do. After 20 glorious seasons, at some point, you have to walk away from the craps table and accept the dice are going to turn cold. I'm terrible at that. Brady's smarter than me. At least I hope so. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analyst Mark Schlereth and Bucky Brooks. Welcome back, gentlemen. Marcellus, start with you. Would Tom Brady be making a mistake playing beyond this season?
Oh, man. You talk about Tom Brady. Tom terrific. This legacy that we have there at the bottom line saying unblemished, and we know that's not true, right?
I think it's unblemished.
One,
his legacy's unblemished.
No one's ever touched a blade of grass without it taking a chunk of your grass. And I ain't mean grass at the end. I meant your... No one's ever walked off that field perfect. No one. I mean, I ain't going to go into the gates. I'm not going to go into how...
Gates don't matter.
The gates count. I'm not going to go into, you know, the scoring differential in the Super Bowls. And guys used to call them field goal because... And I'm not even...
Call me field goal.
I love it. Look, it's better than the alternative. But let's also talk about what's really happening here. There's 2 columns that you have to look at Tom Brady right now, why he may walk into this season without a contract and maybe walk off into the sunset after this season. One is the equity that he has on the field as a player, which is nearly is perfect. You talk about the story, the narrative of who he is. It's hard to poke holes at that. But if you've ever been through a contract negotiation, they find those holes. And here we go. Tom Brady, in terms of equity with this franchise, in terms of future profits, in terms of investing into a brighter future with you, is where he is right now. And they are tearing him apart. Here's a few line items that you can see. 3rd down, Tom Brady is now below league average in 3rd down situations. Tom Brady, who's always been terrific in the short passing game, has shortened it to the tune of he's in the mid-20s in terms of air completions. If you really start digging into the numbers, there is a story, deeper analytics, next-gen stats, coaching stats that are saying Belichick and his genius is now covering up for Tom Brady. And if you notice, shorter passes, screen game, strong run game is now priority. And if you start to say, what do we do with Tom Brady with this great story and accomplishment versus this future that's not as bright, i.e. Brett Favre when he fell off the cliff at 40, Peyton Manning when he finally fell off the cliff, 2015, the Patriots are stuck. They don't know what to do with Tom Brady.
Well, I know you're a Clipper fan, so I'm going to put this in basketball analogy. I'm going to say Tom Brady is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the Showtime Lakers. Start the game, get them off, finish the game. The rest of the game, you let the young fellas do everything else. What we've seen from the Patriots have changed their style the last year. Start running the football. We saw the commitment with the running game and all the running backs that they brought onto the field. Their defense started to play at a lights-out level. All the Patriots are hoping for with Tom Brady is that in the fourth quarter, if the game is close, he can get them to the winner's circle. They don't need to lean on him like they needed to in the past. And so when we think about this potentially being his last year, I think it could be his last year. And I think they're waiting to see which Tom Brady runs out the tunnel and how much they have to make up for the player that no longer is the one that we say is the best at the position.
Barring significant injury, Brady will play as long as he wants to play. Brady throws the ball right now at 41 going into 42 better than he threw it at 28. I mean,
not true.
No, it is 100% true. My eyes do not lie. Brady can flat throw the ball. Now, he doesn't push it down the field like he used to push it down the field, but nobody does anymore. You look at how people read off our defenses in the National Football League. They read side to side. They don't go 1, 2, 3 through their progressions anymore. It's one side to the other side. That's why the ball is out in 2.2 seconds on average. It is hard to sack guys. It is hard to get hit. This guy has a lifetime contract with Robert Kraft, his dad. If he wants to play another couple of years, he'll play another couple of years. And as far as analytics are concerned, 6 Super Bowl titles. That's all the analytics I need to know when it comes to Tom Brady. 6 Super Bowl titles. I think one of the things that drives this guy, obviously the chip on his shoulder, but he's doing things that honestly nobody else has ever done. He's playing at a level at this age that nobody else has ever done. And I always say the thing that drove me to play through the injuries that I played through is I always thought to myself, anybody can play when they're healthy. And I can play like this, and I can play damn good like this. And there is a drive when you're a competitor that I think Tom Brady looks at it like, I'm going to do some things that nobody thinks I can do, that nobody has ever done, and watch me do it.
He's already done
it. And he'll continue to do it because people like you keep doubting him.
Well, Mark, if he has a lifetime contract, how come he doesn't even have a contract past this year? If you got lifetime, why? I don't even have one past next year.
Listen, man,
my entire life.
You go to your dad, you're like, if I go to my dad and say, hey, Pops, my dad's done really well for himself. I need you to help me out. You know what my dad's going to do? He's going to go, let me help you out, son. I love you. You're my son, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the relationship.
And you know, he
Sign, Daddy.
Yeah. No.
They're only paying him $15 million. Russell Wilson's got $35 million.
The dad could reach over and say, you know what, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you retire. Because, you know, at the price we would have to pay you, based off the production we might get moving forward,
right,
it doesn't make sense.
You can do a series of 1-year. He's making $15 million. You can manage that. And every year the cap goes up and up and up. And this guy doesn't take more than $15 million.
But you know the problem with that equation right now? You know all contracts are investment into the future. All of your past success and accolades are on your trophy case. And our trophy case, 6 rings, 6 titles. But when we're talking about dollars, that's forward thinking. Look at Tom Brady in the last 5 years. Last year, we saw him have the highest interception total, lowest touchdown rate, fewest yards per attempt and game, and the lowest passing rating. In the last 5 years. Tom Brady, I love him. He's an amazing 41-year-old. He will never be 31 again. He won't throw it like
$15 million. You can afford it. If that's all,
that's all
he's taking.
If he wants to play for cheap, yeah.
But that's all he's playing for. Hey, listen, man. He won a Super Bowl last year as the quarterback. The year before, he won a Super Bowl against Atlanta where he threw for 500 and some odd. I mean, come on. $15 million. Hell, there's backups that are making 11, 12.
Let me say this. You know this about aging in sports.
Mike Glennon was making $10 million.
The consistency.
$1 million for every inch of his neck.
When you're young, you have consistent excellence, and sometimes you can even just roll out of bed and it feels like it comes. When you're older, you have to manufacture that. And what starts to occur is it starts to come in glimpses, in flashes, but it's not consistent. You're going to point to games for Brady, but you won't see the same body of work because Father
But that's where I like Bucky's analogy. Hey, get us off to a start in the first, win it in the fourth, let us do the work throughout the other three.
But that's what all those older quarterbacks are doing. Tom Brady's not the only one. That's what Drew Brees is doing in New Orleans. That team is not driven solely by Drew Brees. They're leaning on Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas and those other guys.
They take him out and use the backup quarterback because he's such a run threat. I can't.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady, though, has such a level of pride, and not in a bad way. He wants to be the reason they're winning, not being dragged to the winning.
Yeah.
And I really think, I don't think this will be the Patriots, because the Patriots, you're right, they'll sign some reasonable contract if he wants to continue to play. I think Tom Brady's letting off all the signs that because trust me, if he wanted a contract extension now, I think he'd have it. He's the one that put out the IG post, treat your first day like it's your last and your last like it's the first. I think he's starting to figure it out and change his mind. Like, man, I'm 20 years, what a great round number. And if I go out playing at a high level rather than, because I don't care what he says. I don't care what he does, TB12. It's harder, man, at 42 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
To do what he's doing than even when he was just 37. It's so much harder. Just getting out of bed. I guarantee he's rolled out of bed a couple times and had to tiptoe like, damn, I didn't even have to used to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I don't think this necessarily applies to Tom Brady, but they used to win because of him. Now, somewhat in spite of him. Like, they will dress up other parts, they will exploit your weaknesses, and then they'll unveil Tom Brady latter moments in those clutch situations. The pieces around him, Gronk's gone, let's just be real. Edelman's older, he's like 32 and injured already. Maybe this is starting to look like, okay, guys, I hate to say reboot, rebuild, but maybe we should. So Brady, like you said, which Brady's coming out that tunnel? Is he going to be 42 for real? Or is he going to be a little younger and we can use him in spot moments? Even if you can, that's not a winning, consistent formula when other teams are loading the deck. So I just think that right now they're faced with a harsh reality. Winning the Super Bowl actually was a bad thing in terms of turning the page for this team because you don't know what to do. Like you said, he just won a Super Bowl. Why would you ever want to think about moving on? But if you look at the deep numbers, it's getting towards that time.
One thing I've always said about them as an organization that's fascinated me, one, neither he or Belichick are sated by success. They continue to grind.
Yes.
And that's special. That goes against human nature. Two,